Focus. Ideate. Innovate. Enable.
This is our third financial year that we have been doing business in India. In the last 18 odd months, it's been an absolute, again, overwhelming because of your support, because of what you have done with Nutanix and the team that obviously supports on a day-to-day basis. So India for Nutanix is actually a strategic hub. India is the highest adoption of AHV in the world, right? And that's thanks to you for giving us the opportunity to be a part of that journey. Like I said, India being a hub, we have a large development center that my colleague Sankalp and his team heads. We have now people in Pune and Mumbai. We have a big support center, right? So one of the 5 global support centers are actually in India, where we follow the sun. We have a large team of shared services, both for internal and external customer service. And that's kind of the strength of India. So when I say we have been in India, we have been in India with this 900 people strong team to support you and the customers, not just here, but globally. Thank you to our partners. A lot of our partners who are here, they have been, again, since the inception of Nutanix, we have done only 100% business, which is indirect. We don't work direct in a country, in any part of Asia Pacific. And that truly has become possible because a lot of our partners have gone all in with Nutanix, not just one technology, but the entire portfolio of technology. The other thing which I want to quickly highlight is our ecosystems when it comes to OEMs, SIs. So we have a large team in India which is focused on outbound business, when I say India being a hub, and that's headed by my colleague Manoj Gupta and his team. We have large SIs like IBM, Wipro, we have Cognizant. These are all SIs that are managed out of India, but for global outbound business. So again, that really covers the 3 parts of India as a strategy. One, which is business in India for India, a large development and support team, and obviously a big team here supporting the global SIs. So that's how commitment and that's how India is important on the global scheme of things.
In our personal lives, we used to deal with lots of devices, lots of equipment, lots of special purpose things. And about 10 years ago, they all converged. They all converged in pure software, delivering this experience that was really, really simple and elegant and delightful. And now you could have a camera app and a video camera app and a music player app and a voice recorder app. There were apps galore. Everything that used to be a device became an app. And the apps could talk to each other. You could go to a calendar app and click on a link, and it'll open up your GPS app, which is Maps, and so on. So I think this beauty of convergence really started with our own lives. And we took this concept and said, what does it mean to really take this lesson from personal computing and apply it to enterprise computing? There were lots of disparate special purpose devices. And we said, what if we were to look at all these different devices, these silos of people and budgets and hardware, special purpose people, special purpose skill sets, and special purpose hardware, and what if we actually made them into apps? What if we made specialists into generalists? And what if we actually had an operating system experience like the way we have with iOS and Android? These are hyper-converged operating systems. And the world of the enterprise computing deserves a very similar and very elegant and delightful converged experience. So what happened along the way? I think things that we used to emphasize a lot in IT was hardware and CapEx and equipment and things that we'd actually buy as monoliths, as big refrigerator boxes. We said, with software and what software-defined infrastructure can actually do, we'll make this invisible. So machines become invisible, and what really becomes visible are the things that you see up on your slide itself. What became visible was governance and careers and people and applications and services and things that really matter are the things that became visible. And hardware and equipment and budgets actually became invisible. And that's the yin-yang of people versus technology. I think the idea of convergence and the idea of a real cloud experience is to make machines invisible and to make people visible. And as people become free, you realize how important it is to really make machines invisible.
If you look at Nutanix's journey over the last 9 years or so, you'll see that come into very sharp focus. 2012, we launched AOS, and we led the market for hyperconverged infrastructure. That was the core founding IP of the company. Next year, we again innovated on content. We essentially came up with a whole slew of hardware platforms which ensured that HCI, as a technology, could be used to run all of your applications, whether it's your mission-critical databases like Oracle, like SAP, whether it's your big data applications like Splunk, like Hadoop, or your VDI applications like VMware's Horizon, View, or Citrix. No matter what the application, HCI was a platform that could run the application well. Next year, we focused on delivery. We did our first OEM relationship with Dell, wherein they took our software and they essentially packaged it onto their servers. Another way for you to essentially consume our technology. The next year again, and this was a seminal moment in the company's life, what we heard from you, our customers, is that, look, with HCI, Nutanix, you have solved and simplified a portion of our infrastructure stack. But our problems are much bigger. We are being compared, our businesses are asking us to deliver the same agility that they have come to expect from public cloud environments like AWS and Azure. How do you bring that same experience on-prem? And it is our core conviction that on-prem infrastructure could not deliver the same experience because there were just too many moving pieces. I mean, look within your data center. I'm sure all of you are managing technologies from anywhere from 8 to 15 different vendors. So our core conviction was that we have to reduce the number of moving pieces in the stack. And that led us to go up the stack and innovate on the virtual layer with HV, our hypervisor. And to talk more about how the core HCI platform is being used for some of these mission-critical applications, let me invite on stage Mukesh Mehta, CIO, B&K Security.
We are one of the leading stockbroking company in India, primarily dealing in the institutional broking. So the Nutanix platform or the other things, like other, we are using multiple things. And core usage is the trading platform for the algo tradings, HFTs, and all these high-frequency tradings.
I see. So I think one of the applications that you run, the Odin platform, right? It's essentially a trading application, and I imagine it's a very demanding application when it comes to what it needs from the infrastructure in terms of latency and all of that. So maybe you can share a little bit what prompted you to look at a platform like Nutanix and what the experience has been so far.
What prompted is that we were using standalone as a broking house. All of the broking house, you are using standalone machines for the algo tradings or HFT tradings because of the high compute and the HFT demands like that. So we were having one issue where we were looking for one new version to be upgraded on a very short tenure, very short notice period from a vendor. So we had a challenge that how to do it. Then all of a sudden we decided, since Nutanix was live almost 4 or 5 months, we said, let's go with the one version, one setup of this on a Nutanix. Let's take this and let's see how it will work. So from that was the prompting to us to move into the trading platform to the Nutanix.
Let me invite on stage Shugos Nagendra, CTO, RBL Bank.
Platform is the business, is what we believe in the firm, and Nutanix is a strategic partner towards enabling and highly available, scalable, secure, and a concurrent piece of infrastructure. So long discussion short, we did a couple of TCO analysis of what it costed me if I had to buy compute, network, storage separate, and then a couple of proofs of value, not proofs of concept, proofs of value to testify my postulation around VDI on NX platform, storage management, OLAP, OLTP, applications that had high input-output operations, and one-click upgrades, and not to undermine the ESB, the Enterprise Service Bus running on Nutanix. Some of the guys in my team said, hey, why don't we do an R&D on using the NX platform for my non-production environment for development? So I said, that's just like putting an Audi engine under an Maruti 800 bonnet. Yeah, it's an suboptimal utilization of this hyper-converged infrastructure. And that was what we did as an postulation. And where are we now? So we have migrated a couple of mission-critical workloads, and it's been an absolute nirvana for the end users. 65 to 70% of visible, demonstrable increase in the speed. And most importantly for me as an CTO, delivering, we are in a highly regulated environment. We are in a business of trust. We deal with the public money. So the regulator is not very, very prescriptive on what can go on cloud, public, private. But my endeavor is to build a private, on-demand cloud that scales. At the same time, ensure that a rogue or a naughty application should not bring down an adjoining one, for which we have micro-segmentation and implementing flow in the firm. I just want to conclude, Raja, by saying that when a bank of dreams joins hands with an extreme engineering software firm, the results can be only one thing: incredibly successful.
Let me invite on stage Anuj Gupta, CEO, Hitachi Systems Microclaim.
We walked into a customer who's been buying tons of storage and servers from us. And then he suddenly comes up that, you know what, I've been running a lot of cloud instances. Help me do something with it. When we walked in, we realized it was $1 million worth of billing a year, right? That was the kind of consumption they were doing. And when we started, he said there was some consumption. And post that, we used Beam as a technology or a software where we started optimizing his entire workload. And in the entire optimization, we realized that we could actually cut about almost $300,000 worth of infra, which was just running, and it was idle. It wasn't actually being optimized. Post that, today, at the same value point, he's probably using twice the infrastructure. So that Beam really helped us get that entire visibility into the environment.
And what about the sort of the governance and compliance, right? I mean, when you look at customers, oftentimes they just don't know what's running and are the right people running the right sort of applications in a public cloud environment. How does Beam help them sort of stay on top of that?
So, the interesting thing today is that business leaders have started bypassing IT when it comes to consumption on the cloud. They put in credit cards, they put in whatever it is, start an instance, and that instance continues to run in spite of they are done with the project. So a lot of places we've seen the tap has not gone off, billings are continuing, right? And there are a lot of compliance and security issues. So again, we've been using the entire feature from Beam where we go do the entire visibility search, really look at what compliance is, PCI, you talk about ISO, all of this are available on a click on a predefined template. So we've been using a lot of those features to help a lot of compliance matrix and compliance guidelines on the cloud and on-prem as well.
How do we create entrepreneurial leaders? Very simple question. And we said, we have an advantage as being a very small school. We have an advantage that the country doesn't expect much from us in the beginning. We are a child. We are not an adult. The family responsibilities are not on us. And we can do all kinds of crazy things, try things, fail, make mistakes, improve. And that is how we started. We started our curriculum 8 years back, and we said, when the kids come to us, they're burnt out. Let's first make them good humans. For first 5 weeks, we run a boot camp, starting from 6 o'clock in the morning to 9:30 in the night. Every kid for 5 weeks doesn't study. We work on 5 areas: physical fitness. Twice a day, 6:30 in the morning, evening at 6 o'clock, they're on the playground. Creativity, music, dance, painting, sketching, all kinds of things. Values and ethics. leadership and communication, societal concerns. This 5-week has been transformational. Very excited to see numerous IITs now starting to do that now. That is what is the advantage of being a laboratory. We ran it for 6 years, 7 years before many other IITs started to do it. This year, All India Council for Technical Education is saying, do it in every engineering college, right? We said, we will teach design and innovation as a compulsory course for every engineering discipline. Very confusing to engineering students to be told what is innovation, what is design. Works beautifully.
From the youngest program to the oldest computer science program in India, IIT Kanpur. Dr. Shukla, what are your thoughts on this?
If you look at the past 20 years, most of it was service sector driven, as you said. And it was proportional to the number of people that you send on site or number of hours you can bill. Now that revenue stream is drying up very quickly for various reasons. One is the international political scenario, the current US immigration situation and so on. And we are seeing that many companies like TCS and other companies are also now trying to go into an innovation-driven strategy. And so it almost seems like to me is coming out of a necessity of thriving in a changed environment. With that, I think the other change that has happened is that entrepreneurship was less acceptable earlier. Now it is getting more and more acceptable. If you see the incubation centers in the various organizations, including IITs, you see that that opportunity did not exist even, I think, in Dheeraj's time, for that matter. And so people had to, find their own ways towards, creating companies and so on. Now I think that the environment has changed quite a bit.
So on that note, we will end on a very humble note and thank both of you for taking the time and the effort to share your insights with us. Clearly, we want more innovators coming out of this, and 3.0 for India should certainly help transform and disrupt. So Jai Hind on that, and thank you so much for your time.
If I fail in a maths class, if I fail in a 10th exam, the school will not advertise saying that one of my kids failed. It will say 99.9% marks or 100%. They will say he will fail in March, maybe in September we'll cover it up, and in October we'll give 100% results. But as a 10-year-old, 11-year-old, he plays a tournament, he's going to stand in front of people and he's going to accept that I am a loser. And then imagine the confidence he has the next time he wins, overcoming his failures. That's what sport gives. So sport is fundamental for health, for happiness, for character building, for physical literacy. It's very important. Today we are not looking at it that way. And scary results are coming out. In Delhi, one of my very good friends, our physio, he does work on flat feet and knock knees. 8 out of 10 kids have flat feet and knock knees. 25 years later, when they go to a corporate office, they will say that he has a back and a hip problem, and he should have fixed it 20 years ago. 8 out of 10 kids have it. And in rural India, it's 2 out of 10. And semi-urban, it's 4 out of 10. So I think these are problems which need to be addressed. We are not looking at these. We are looking at other issues which we think are very important, but sport has an answer for many of these. And we need to look at sport very differently. And India needs to look at sport differently.
Nutanix simplifies the customer's data center architecture, makes it simple, makes the infrastructure invisible, allowing the customers to concentrate on their applications and running their businesses rather than managing complex IT infrastructure.
The technology spectrum that Nutanix offers today will give the ease of use, ease of management, and actually very easy to move data from a public to a private and a private to a public cloud.
The main advantage with Nutanix is like customers like the flavor of public cloud, and whereas the Nutanix helps the customers to give the same experience and making invisible the infrastructures and making it available at the private cloud, so within the premises. And I think the Nutanix is doing amazing stuff there, and it's really helping the customers to solve a lot of business challenges.
It's eye-opener the way hyperconvergence as a technology is emerging. It's going to be, it is already a kind of a game changer for lots of business units across the globe. So I'm sure that this will have a multifold effect on the future technology, I would say.
Focus, ideate, innovate, enable.